All right, y'all, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started now. Hey, Lou, we're going to get the meeting started if you could round your table up. Well, thanks, y'all. Welcome to the first club assembly of the Rotary year. We've got 2 handheld mics going today, so if anyone has their announcements for the committee meetings, we'll be able to pass those out to everyone just to make it a little bit easier. And I've got a slide for people up here, unless people sent slides, in which case I put them in. We're recording, so everything you say, can do, and video here will be on the internet. All right, do a quick Pledge of Allegiance. I know it's a club assembly, but I figured that in case Bob was here, we'd definitely make sure to have it. So, all right, I'll get you all started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wonderful. And 4-way test. First, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun? All right, y'all can be seated. Lou, come on up. Well, we're doing a Rotary Minute today, and Lou decided to give us a photo montage, so I put it all together for him. And we'll give the man a mic. It only goes to the internet. They all can hear you here, so. Yeah, we've got Dave Turner, we've got Cassidy Murphy from Boulder Club, we got Angie, we got Bob Groening, got Dave, oh, I already said Dave. We got a few people, yeah.
Well, August 9th, 1951, I was hatched at an early age in Chicago, Illinois. A year later, we moved to Marshalltown, Iowa, where I grew up, and went to high school there, became the president of our class, tribes. And 1972, I was a sophomore, a junior at the University of Iowa. My dad unexpectedly passed away from a heart attack. So I quit school and came back and took over our business. I ran Iowa Wholesale Supply, which is a monthly kitchen cabinet distributor. We sold contractors, schools, hotels, and of course, home builders. While I was in Marshalltown, I started a lot of stuff here, so bear with me. Founder and past president of Big Brother, Big Sister of Marshall County. So we were helping kids. We've done over 2,000 kids in the last 50 years since I started the society. Founder and past president of the Iowa Barbecue Society. I got involved with barbecuing, surprise, cooked with the team in Kansas City for 11 years, became a rep and a judge. You go to school, learn how to be a judge. You learn how to be a rep where you go around the country and run the computer systems and make sure everybody does everything according to the rules of the society. A lot of big money. 1993, I won the Cook-Off King contest at the Iowa State Fair with my brisket, which was a big deal. I won the beef category and overall category. That was my first time there. There was guys been there for 10 to 15 years trying to cook, and I blew them all away, which is pretty cool. I became national spokesman for Maytag Appliances, line of outdoor cooking equipment. Maytag was 30 miles from me, and I went down and interviewed with them. They were coming out with a whole line of barbecue equipment, and they hired me. That lasted about 6 months until Maytag went down the tube somewhat because they were giving away trips when you buy a vacuum cleaner. So the president of the company was relieved of his duties. I was a founding member of the Marshall County Drug Court. This is where kids and adults were convicted of drug or alcohol abuse. And they'd come to a panel once a week, and we would give them sanctions of things to do. If they didn't, there was consequences accordingly. I was Rotarian of the Year in Marshalltown. Been a Paul Harris Fellow for 4 times. I've been a Rotarian now for over 45 years, believe it or not. Citizen of the Year, Marshalltown Chamber of Commerce. Citizen of the Year, Optimist Club. Celebrity Chef on local TV and radio stations. Retired certified Kansas City Barbecue Society judge and contest representative. Then I became an instructor with Marshalltown Community College for grilling and smoking. Well, having won all these awards for cooking, they asked me if I could do that. I'm not a teacher, but I did very well. And we'd have 40, 50 people at each one of the classes. And I'd show them how to cook the food. Then we'd have samples, so everybody got plenty to eat. Past president and board member of the Marshalltown Community College Foundation. I was a pit master at a local Hy-Vee grocery store, kind of like King Soopers. So when the meat was getting close to being expired, they give it to me, I'd cook it up, and then we'd sell it on Thursday nights. Wednesdays, I would cook like 40 chickens, and people would line up. Honestly, God, back by the meat counter, the chickens weren't even cooled off yet to package. Chickens. So that was pretty cool. Board member of the University of Iowa Marshall County I Club. I consulted with Miller's Grill, turning it into a barbecue restaurant. I was a pit master and teacher of barbecuing at Miller's Grill, a demo chef at Cabela's and Thornton. I was recently inducted in the Barbecue Hall of Fame for Iowa. I was a demo chef at the National Western Livestock Show in Denver for a number of years. Ambassador for the Erie Chamber of Commerce, Ambassador of the Year in 2015. Past board member for Coal Creek Meals on Wheels. Member of the Coal Creek Rotary Club, the chair of the Food Summer Distribution for Kids. We would have a truck lined up, and we would have kids, the parents come by with the grocery carts and fill it up with food from the food share people. Demo chef at the Brew Fest at the Ranch Budweiser Center. Chairman of the Rotary Food Share Program 2016. Current member of this club, of course. Certified raffle manager, which I'll never do again. And I'm also the district associated Rotary Lead Committee chair for when somebody wants to join Rotary, I get the name and then I disseminate it to a number of clubs. Married 41 years, which is wrong now. It's 42 years, I guess, to my wife, 2 sons, 4 grandkids in Louisville and in Burbank, California. We moved here in 2013, and it's been a great ride. My mantra is, most of you know, I'm a salesman, so I don't take no for an answer. I want to make a difference in somebody's lives and in the community. And my motto for my barbecue business, you kill it, we grill it. So, I mean, today I've got to cook 400 hot dogs for our HOA. They're having a yappy hour for the dogs and for the community. So I'll be cooking in 95-degree weather today. But if it wasn't for Rotary, I wouldn't be where I am today. When my dad died, I was a free spirit. And I majored in bartending and parties and a little bit of business. But without the help of the people from Rotary that took me underneath their wing, because like I said, I was a free spirit, I wouldn't be here today. So I owe Rotary a gratitude, and that's why I am so passionate about being in this club. Thank you.
Attendant. Okay, so over the weekend, first of all, thank you for sending the check to Project Sanctuary for $507. And I just heard the suicide rate is going up faster than it was before, which was bad before. Also, my son-in-law did a 100-mile bike ride over the weekend in Cherry Creek, and his wife and the dog helped him. They kind of cheered him on. And then we took our grandson to the Garden of the Gods and the Mining Museum. Wonderful, wonderful. So also, when you were talking about Budweiser, I just finished a book called Bitter Brew. Have any of you read it? The rise and the fall of that family.
Thanks so much, Kim.
I've planned my first trip for 2 years, and I'm going to Palm Springs with one of my college friends in about a couple months. I'm so excited. I'm finally traveling again.
We spent the weekend in Silverthorne with our daughter and her family, a little 3-year-old girl with high needs and a 9-month baby. And I cannot say it was relaxing, but it was still good to be with them.
So I'm really enjoying the Olympics. And I just wanted to say, for those of you that haven't heard, that my daughter's dog is racing in the Wiggle Butt races on Sunday. So cheer him on.
Our daughter crashed and fell a week ago, and she's doing much, much better.
Last Wednesday, I had a text from my husband that they were baling our hay. So I raced home and had 513 bales that we had to load up and put in the barn. And then I had 133 bales that wouldn't fit, so I sold those on Monday. So yay.
I just got back from Southern California. My 9-year-old grandson had a birthday, and then they spent the weekend in a lacrosse tournament, and both of my grandson's teams won first place. Real exciting.
Next Monday, we head to Detroit. Not my favorite destination, but it's the journey that's going to be hot. And sort of looking forward to it. Be back in about a week and a half.
That was good. Spill the money out. For all of you been asking about my son, today is D-Day. He'll be getting his blood lab done. If his blood work is good, he'll be able to start transfusions right away, dialysis. If not, we'll have to do the blood transfusion. So we're on the edge of our seat for that. In the meantime, my kids from LA are here. So I took one grandson to Lake Michigan last week, and he caught a 24-pound king salmon. We ended up catching a total of 22 fish in 2 days. So that was a lot of fun. And then yesterday, I got to go whitewater rafting with all the grandkids, and I'm sore and boiled now, but had a good time.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Not any size of loose fish.
No 22-pound.
No 20 fish. No, the biggest one I had was
22 inches.
Hello? Hello? Jay, we can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. All right, so we made our way through most of the agenda so far. We'll have a couple announcements and then we'll jump on to the club assembly. So real quick, from peach sales perspective, I know we got Bob online, but he sent this info into me. So as of 2 nights back, we're at 770 boxes, including the ones that we buy to sell day of. So that's pretty good. We're getting closer to our goal now. We've seen a huge uptick in sales. If you look at revenue online, which is just one aspect of what we're selling, our online revenue has almost doubled in a week. So we've had quite a bit of sales. So thank everyone for putting that effort forward. If we can continue that momentum, I think we'll meet the goal for this next year. And that way Leslie and Beth will actually have money to give away. So that'd be helpful. But yeah, our units sold has doubled, our order number has doubled, and our revenue has doubled. So we've done quite a bit this last week. I think we can definitely keep that momentum up. So please work on that. Quick announcements we have. There's that same Rotary 101. Anyone that you know that maybe isn't here in Boulder, but you've been talking to about Rotary, that might be a really great opportunity. It's a virtual 101 on what Rotary is from the district, and it might help get some people introduced to different aspects of the district and Rotary as a whole. It's virtual as well. There's also the Woo Humanity Bike event. That's September 25th. We've talked about it a lot. I don't own a bike anymore, so I'm not going to be going. But if you do, sign up and do it. Maybe your son-in-law can. He can do it in his heart. Centuries are brutal. It's a Rocky game with Rotary on the 26th, and then one added line item for this week is the World Polio Day will be in October on the 24th. So we can all plan for that. We'll probably have some sort of fundraising type effort for that when we get there. So jumping right in, I know it was great. So we're jumping right into our committee updates, but Joanne, so we're going to skip and go back because that's how it goes. So Bob, did you want to give your update? I've got Mike here for you so that you can tell people online, and something just happened.
Miller will be installed into the club next week. We have no candidates, but there are some coming next week. I'm told. So we have a potential other member coming this next week. But she will be the first new member at our club this year, and I forecast 5 members through the course of the year. And I was told this morning by my wife that's net. And so none of you can quit. So we can get our
Thanks, Bob. Also, other updates for membership is that there's a district membership summit in Golden, and that will be coming up on the 21st. And then we also, just showing the spreadsheet there. Dennis, do you have a question for Bob? All right, yeah. So did everyone up here hear that? No, exactly, because it's very loud with the fan going. People in the back can't hear us in the front, and we can't hear them in the back. So if you're talking, face towards the center, and then we can all hear one another, I guess that's the request. Hopefully we'll be able to remember that. Yeah, and I think the fans, we got them off last time, but this week they didn't get turned off. So sorry about that. It's just it's this venue. It's our temporary venue. All right. Joanne, you're up next. Are you ready? All right.
I got the phone call.
Here's your microphone.
Membership report, thank you. Just for community service, of course, the original goal was to achieve a minimum of 25% of participation annually in a service project. But a membership survey showed that the goal was already being met, so it was increased to 60%. So members self-report their participation in a service project, any sponsorship. Survey again early in 2022. not scheduled this day of caring. United, they'll be giving us that. Then the final one is vocational support, and we're going to call Marty up for that. The goal began with finding a champion and developing a core support group that has been achieved. The goal is driven by multiple opinions. Young adults need support as they seek to find meaningful vocational career. So, Marty, tell us what the committee is doing.
And first of all, this is a result of our visioning process that we did a while back. It's here, part of it helped us help me navigate this process, and I'm really, really so from that process, as Joanne just said, one of the top goals was getting a vocational champion. There, Jason, he's a vocational champion. And another part of that goal was to get a coordinator, which we have, and Deb, there's Jason, and we are the coordinators. Somebody else is loving. So that was accomplished. The third part of the goal was to have a framework and an action going, hopefully within a 6-month period. And so that part of the goal starts. And so Jason called a committee meeting, the first committee a couple weeks ago. And from that meeting, 2 things came out. The first one, Beth, I think, are going to look at a scholarship opportunity. I know we used to have a scholarship in this club, and then it was dropped. But we're going to see if we can renew in a different manner a scholarship opportunity. And so they are starting to work on that. And then my part is the mentorship part. And I'm just so excited about this. I'm just getting started with this. And so you will know more at a later date. But what we're thinking about right now is having one high school, that school to be determined, where we will have volunteer mentors. And I hope some of you consider this after I explain it. And then in the future, I would love to expand and have the other 2 Boulder clubs help us with this mentorship project. What mentors would be doing, they would help high school students with career planning and goal setting, and in general, just helping set goals in life. And so my thought is, in the future, once we get the mentor volunteers, I would do a training just with some hints on what mentors do, how you can support kids. If kids tell you something that you can't, like abuse, that you can't keep to yourself, things like that. And so we are just getting started with that. I will need to, once we get a school figured out, I will need to talk with the administration of that school to get their guidelines. And of course, mentors will have to have background checks. And so so there's several things I still need to do, but I'm really excited about this. And I would love for you to consider being a mentor. It would not take a lot of your time. Thank you.
So I think, of course, too many clicks on too many things. All right, so we've got Beth online to do her grants committee update, and I've got the speaker set up here, so I think we'll actually hear her better than we hear one another. So hopefully that will work. Beth, are you able to jump on now? I see you on. So if you want to go, please go ahead.
Okay, am I running the PowerPoint or are you, Jay?
I'll go ahead and click the buttons for you.
Okay, perfect. So I'm here to talk about our grants committee, and I'm nicknaming it the Fun Committee. Next. because, you know, it's fun. So next, everybody gets a grant. We get the fun job of giving money away. And so this is one of the most rewarding committees that we have. Not that I'm lobbying for members, but here's the grants process. We have a grants committee, and what the grants committee does is it reviews requests and then makes funding recommendations, which go to our club board. Next. And then once the relationship between the club and foundation is that the club board approves the grant committee's recommendations, we assume they'll approve them, and then they forward it on to the foundation board. And the foundation board approves it, and then they write the check. So that's how the interaction works. And this is a difficult and kind of ugly flow chart, but it kind of helps walk through how we decide what goes where. And so you start at the top there and ask the question, are the funds going to be deposited in and expenses paid by the foundation? If that answer is no, we say, are the funds going to be deposited in and expenses paid by the club? And if the answer is still no, then that's not a club activity. So that would be something like if we have a nonprofit come and make a presentation to our club, and then we send out the link to our members if they want to donate. That's outside of the club, that's a private thing. But if those funds are going to be deposited in the club and paid out by the club, then that is a club activity. And an example of that is our happy dollars. We collect those happy dollars in the club, and then the board can designate happy dollars to stay just for the club or to go to a project. For example, you know, in July, we're giving our happy dollars to the Alzheimer's walk. So that's what happens if it doesn't go to the foundation. So then if we answer yes to that first question, if it's going to go to the foundation, then we need to have one of those fundraising forms. And if you need to know what that is, I can get that to you. And then the second question is, if the money's going to the foundation, is it going to be targeted to a specific nonprofit? And if the answer is yes, then we want that noted on the fundraising form, and the board needs to approve that. If it's no, then that's what the grants committee does. That's where we get the grants applications in from nonprofits and go through the process that I just outlined for you. So a good example of that is the peach sales. We're not designating them to any specific organization. Next. So in the grants process, a grants form needs to be completed by the nonprofit, and I put the website address there, but it's also right on our website. You just go to our website and look at grants, go to the page, and the application's right there. And then the grant forms need to be sent to BFR Grants at Google. So pretty simple there. Next. And oh, this is just a screenshot of our club web page, and you can see in purple there, interested in applying for a grant, and you can just download the file right there. So that's how you find the grant application. Next. And then we have criteria that the grants committee uses to help us decide which grants we should fund. First, they need, and I'm not talking international, obviously, at this point, but Boulder County, they need to have objectives that are measurable and life enhancing. We want them to have a long-term community significance. And then there's some other criteria that we might use that but the first three are basics. Next. More criteria. They need to be a 501c3. And our funding needs to make a difference. We don't want to be just a drop in the bucket that doesn't matter. We want the activity that we're funding to be completed in a year. Oh, and long-term significance, that was a repeat, sorry. And then we have a year off rule, which is basically we don't give grants to the same place in consecutive years. Next. And then another criteria is that all grants need to have a club champion, someone in our club who really wants to work with that nonprofit and is willing to be the conduit between the club and the nonprofit. But we understand that not all nonprofits know somebody in our club, which is fine. So if the request doesn't have a club member associated with it as a club champion, we'll send out a note to all of you and say, hey, we have a grant request from nonprofit XYZ. Would anyone be willing to be a grant club champion? And so it's not, we do have to have one, but it doesn't mean that they have to have one coming in. We can try to help find one. Next. Oh, yes, and join this committee. So if you would like to join the grants committee, please just send an email to BFR Grants, and we're going to set up a meeting, our first meeting in early August. It's, we already have, I think, 2 or 3 grant requests that we can look at. So we'll have some work to do. And we'll also have our budget set by then. And so we'll know how much we're going to be able to spend. That is it, unless there are any questions.
No, I don't see any hands raised, Beth. So thank you so much for that. It's super helpful and informative, especially as we're going into grant applications coming up here for this year. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's,
oops, I forgot. I'm also on club administration. So if anybody wants to help with the newsletter or the website or something administrivia related, please let me know, and I'm happy to show you how to do that.
I think on my slide, we'll talk a little bit more about that and helping relieve some of the load for Beth here if we can.
No problem. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Marcia, did you want to talk about literacy update? Just like yeah, because we've got a couple weeks left.
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we did hear a little bit about vocational in our visioning. So just a quick update on that from what I've seen lately. We have a lot of attendees, which we mentioned earlier. They had a meeting and there's draft documentation going through. So awesome that that's getting some momentum. Unfortunately, Joe is unable to make it today, but we do have community service updates real quick. So Chase House, obviously is last Friday of every month. That's one of our ongoing volunteer commitments. So if anyone is interested in helping out Joe and volunteering for next month, we have one for July, but August is coming up. So the first person to commit to him will get the spot. We have Adopt Road. We do a cleanup on Isabel Road, which most people here know about. It's between 287th and 95th Street. And then we do that spring and fall. So it'll be a couple months before we get out and do our fall cleanup. And the last one, which is coming up sooner, is the United Way Day of Caring. The service projects, we'll do a Habitat for Humanity project. And in that project, we need 9 additional volunteers. Currently, Joe is signed up, but 9 more. Oh, Ann signed up, so now we need 8. Gonna get a 7? No, okay. And then one thing to note, this is very important, you have to sign up in 2 places. One of them is on the Habitat for Humanity website, and Joe will have this information sent out to everyone, you know, we'll have reminders, but one is Habitat for Humanity and one is United Way. And that way it gets credit for the United Way day of service here, plus the Habitat for Humanity is necessary so they know you're coming. And you have all your forms filled out and your waivers. So Joe wanted to iterate that here just so that we all have that on the top of our heads, because that's coming up a couple months now. So programs, I know Bill wasn't able to attend in person today, but I'll just give you an update real quick from what he emailed me. We're gonna try a couple new things this year. Bill's excited about seeing what we can do with programs and how we can try something different. We're gonna do monthly theme. We're gonna test that out. So he's already gathered volunteer speakers for our programs in October to be centered around the new area of focus, which is environment. If that's feeling pretty good when we get into that, because we've had a lot of excitement about it, we might start doing monthly themes. And we've been told, and I've seen it in past clubs, that when we do monthly themes, often if you have a member that's, or a potential new member come on the first or the second week of the month, and they care about the program, they're gonna come back for a couple more. And you start to see that momentum build a little bit quicker for people. Another thing Bill and I talked about was the idea about maybe doing a panel of speakers once a quarter. And that way we can have something different. You know, we could have maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 people talk about a subject, you know, answering questions about something together. And they maybe come from different parts of the community focused on that idea. So that way, maybe we could do something on diversity, equity, inclusion, and have a panel of people from different parts of our community speak to that. Or we could have some people talk about water in Boulder, or we could have some people talk about, you know, maternal health and childcare. I think these are all things that we care about in our club, and it might be nice to have multiple voices at the same time. So Bill's idea, really great idea. And then Bill's gonna be taking feedback on it. He's interested just to see how people like it, if these pilots should be continued and something we should adopt. All right, so my notes are towards the end of the notes for today. This goes back to what Beth mentioned for club administration. We need help. So we need volunteers in website, newsletters, and email list. Those things are, you know, great, and Beth has done an amazing job this last year. I think in order for Beth to be able to do the grants, you know, with all of her energy, it would be nice to have some people coming in to help with this. I think Beth had said that she would be open to the idea of someone taking on club administration if there was someone super enthusiastic about it, but definitely website help, newsletter help, that would be super helpful for us. So if you know anyone in the club, or you're thinking that maybe that's something you'd be interested in learning about doing, you don't have to be a pro at it. Don't have to have any experience. It's something you can learn to do. We'd be happy to show you the ropes and get you up to speed on being able to help the club that way. They're actually very low commitment tasks, each individual one, I should point out. But overall, if you did all club administration, yes, it would be a larger role. Another one that's very, very, very important is we need a club treasurer. So currently we have a volunteer treasurer that's keeping a seat warm, and I know, keeping a seat warm and keeping envelopes pushed out, but it's time for us to have someone else step up for sure. I've asked a number of people, and a number of people have either declined to ever talk to me again or said no, very politely. So my wife, when she joined Rotary, she joined the club, and within a week she was the treasurer of that club. So it's not something, and she by no means has any experience with any of that. So she told me that I need to really push that you don't have to have any experience with it. This is a great place to learn. And yeah, for people online that may not have heard that. Yeah, so for people online that may not have heard that, Maribeth said that once the foundation took on the peach sale financial burden, the treasurer role in the club became a much less stressful position. It's a lot less commitments, a lot less work, and you don't have that mad rush in August. So I think that's worth noting. If you've never done it, there's no better time than now, right? So the last thing we need help with, as people online know very well, is we need someone to help with the AV. So that's setting up a little bit in the morning so that I can handle things like signing checks and greeting, our program speakers and all of that, which at this point I am not able to do. But there will be labeled and color coordinated tags for every cable and every port so that you cannot mess up how to set it up. And then at that point, it would be someone sitting there able to, click to the different camera angle, so that we can see people, in the club talking, or see the speaker talking for program, or see the slide. It's not a very difficult process, something that I could probably teach in about an hour. And if not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold a program where I teach everyone in the club how to do it. And then I am going to be randomly assigning people to come and do it. It's going to be one or the other. So, oh, Marcia said it's fine. There we go. I've got a second. Do I have a vote now? All right. So the next one is, and just to clarify, we're doing this because we do have 6, 7, or 8 people online from our club every meeting now. And these are people that either can no longer come in person, but still want to be a part of our club and participate weekly. There are people that have meetings or work meetings that they can't attend, certain weeks. Sometimes we have guests, like today we had the president-elect from the Boulder Club. I mean, we have people joining us from all different parts of our community. And I think that it's really important for us to have that ability to include people, even if they can't physically be here. Anyhow, all right. The board voted in the last board meeting, and I wanted to update you here in the club assembly that the board meetings will now be the first Tuesday of the month on Zoom at 7 a.m. So all new. We're going to have to pass a little bit of a bylaw change here in this next meeting, but the board voted, and this is a unanimous vote, that they wanted this change to happen. So I think one of the benefits of this is that we'll have the ability for more people to attend us. So I think that in the past, coming, an additional day, a month, at a different time in a different location was difficult. Now there's no obstacle. We can have everyone in the club come and listen if they want to, and hear what's going on. So increase in transparency. All right, now is the time for lots of questions. If people have questions or updates they want to give. I got a hand raised from a couple people already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera angle around for everyone. And then for people online, if you could raise your hands, then I will get to you as well. So I'll start with the first hand, which is Bob Slider.
I want to say a little bit about the membership process.
A lot of you don't know that we have a fairly rigid sequence that we follow. Members into the club. We have people in an outreach committee. On the first visit, they will give them, encourage them to become members. Information. We want to put a carrot in front of them. In the second visit, they get a letter from us that tells them a little bit more about Rotary, and lets them know that we expect them to visit us 3 times before they'll get a membership packet, which includes application. We expect that process to proceed orderly. The way we like to do it is it keeps everybody in the committee involved in a certain process of it. Our people in the committee have a job in front of these people until they get through the process. But please don't hand out applications because you have them in your drawer, or step outside that sequence, because it is an orchestrated event and it works better when we all work together as a team.
Yeah, I have to show something.
So George McGee and I are on the Public Image Committee, and the focus right now is on Facebook, and now we're going to be doing YouTube, which I don't know anything about, and honestly, I've never used Facebook in my life, but I'm doing it now, and it's a learning process. So Bill told me when we took this over that no one looks at our Facebook. So I'm wondering if people who here looks at the Boulder Flatirons Rotary Facebook. Okay, well, nobody, okay, that's good to see, and okay. But anyway, we're trying to get more people to look at it. So we're doing different things. So one of the things that we're doing is, if you can see this, guys, this was on Facebook, and I was in Wyoming with no internet last week, so I couldn't get this flyer to show up. So I emailed everybody the information about this. The idea here is to support all of our committees. So this is with Joe Hinton for the community service for the Habitat for Humanity. So we're putting that up. But if anybody has flyers or access to any events that you're doing connected to, we did one for Project Sanctuary. We've done There for Care. What is it? There with Care. I've gotten in touch with people, but I've asked them, please send me any information, because we're trying to get, show that we're working with people in the community. The other thing that we did was we put our flyer up. If you've looked at the Facebook account, you'll see that there are things, there are pictures of people eating peaches. There are peach recipes that we've got on that are referred to. And we have put, Bob, thank you very much. I loved your recipe. I don't know, is it up there yet or not? No. Oh, so we have three recipes up.
I think we might have 4 recipes as of today, and I'm adding more and more to it. So, yeah.
He's a bit overwhelmed with what I'm sending him, but we do have lots of recipes. But yeah, a joke, huh? Yeah. But people are saying, thanks for the recipes. I'm buying something, and they see about the jams and everything. So I just giving you an idea of things that George and I are working on. The other thing is I've asked people to send me photos. We haven't gotten any photos yet. We were going to do Instagram, but Instagram is turning into a different, is becoming like a TikTok and a selling and video. And it really, I don't think it's going to help us. So, I mean, that's a whole other thing that I don't know anything about. I'm willing to learn it, but I mean, if it's not going to accomplish anything and meet our goals, I don't think there's any point. The other thing is, because Bill said after 10, 12 years of doing Facebook, is Bill on this? Is he on here? Okay, well, okay. But he said we've only gotten like 177 people to like our Facebook, which I mean, I'm feeling like, oh, I'm having fun doing this, but it would be nice if people shared, liked, commented, and I don't really see people commenting other than me commenting myself. And so anyway, we're trying, I was told from Facebook that we can boost our postings. So it's $14 a post. And I just boosted this one yesterday, and I paid for it myself. And I know we have $50 marketing, which doesn't go very far. So maybe we think about, what we can do there, but we're going to just test it. I don't know I don't know anything about SEO. So I don't know how you got to help me or refer to me to somebody, but we're going to try it out, because we need to, this is a recruitment tool, Facebook, and we want to get people who are diverse and inclusive, and everybody here in this room is looking very homogeneous. So I'm pulling pictures that look younger, that are Rotaract, Interact, and we're connected to those clubs, but just trying to get some new faces and new voices, and just being creative about it. I'm enjoying it, but if I don't see any action, I will have to think about something else. I don't know what, but just wanted you to know that please some of your photos. I've got photos from Lou about his fishing, where he's killing fish, and you've got pictures of me of throwing the back end, catch and release. So if anybody's got something interesting, doing something, instead of the pictures of people sitting and, like people who are 60, 70, 80 years old sitting there eating, at an event. I mean, it was fun taking pictures and putting it up online, of our wonderful installation there. But we need to have people doing things with maybe younger people and maybe with animals. And then I can get pictures of dogs and cats. And we can get people to come into our club because they're interested in dogs. That's the idea. So if you've got something that you love doing cooking or fishing or cycling, that's what I'm interested in. Yeah. It's fun for me to do, and it will make me continue doing this. Hopefully, if people look at our Facebook page. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann. I think that she's asking for us to send her images of people in action because we are people of action. So if you have any good stuff that you can help Ann with, that'd be helpful. I think another thing that we've talked about, but we haven't fully hashed out, is the LinkedIn account that we have set up for the club. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can search the club, you can search the foundation, right, Rusty? And they both exist there because LinkedIn draws in nonprofit names from all over the world and just automatically makes them. So you can affiliate. And I think that does help a little bit. That's how Matt Motzik, the person who came 2 weeks ago, found me, just on LinkedIn. So it is a platform to find potential new members. I post there. We've had peach sales from LinkedIn because I've posted the poster on there multiple times and we've had people click, and you can see in search engine optimization, those clicks turning into purchases on our website. So LinkedIn's a good platform for it because they take things like posters and images. We also have something called Canva, which is, if you know Photoshop, you know Illustrator, Adobe, Canva is the online version. And we have a free account that we get to use in our club because nonprofits get to use it. If you know other nonprofits you're involved in, they can all apply for Canva and they will approve you. But we have one because we're a nonprofit, and it means that we can make things like that peach logo that we had earlier. That's where I made it, is Canva. So all of our logos, all of our images and posters we can now make on that site for free. You don't have to have special software. You don't have to have a fancy computer. That all being said, this was really helpful. Does anyone else have any last minute things for the good of the order? Oh, we do. Awesome. Mary Beth?
I know several of you left. I know Kim has participated, Marty and Bob participated, but Greenhouse Scholars is having their annual Inspire, and they're actually having it in person on August 8th, right? And so go to Greenhouse Scholars and make the reservation and go. It is inspiring. I can't even talk about how inspiring it is with these kids that get scholarships to go to college. So August 8th. That's a Sunday. That's next Sunday. Oh, okay.
Awesome. Well, I thank you all for joining us today. We have a foundation meeting, our semi-annual meeting, starting right now after this meeting, back here in the back corner by Rusty. So look for the gent with specs and coffee, and you'll find someone. It'll likely be Rusty. That said, if it's Wednesday, it's Rotary.
I can make faces.